What's going on, guys? So we're working on the car again. We got some more issues to deal with. It's kind of unfortunate. I feel like most of the time that I'm working on this car, it's just fixing stuff instead of doing mods. But that's just life with an old car, I guess. But yeah, if you missed the last video, we put in these seats and we also fixed a bunch of holes in the floor. And we also recently did these brakes, put new brakes in. But yeah, I had a noise coming from this wheel, and and I initially thought it was from the brakes being worn out, and they were very, very worn out, but they weren't causing the noise, and it sounded very much like a wheel bearing had gone bad. But these wheel bearings aren't that old. They're only about 2 years old. I was really hoping that it was some other issue, but I had it taken out of the shop, and they looked at it, and they're like, yeah, it's definitely the bearing. So today, we're going to be removing the front knuckle, and then we're going to drop it off at a shop so that they can press the bearing in. It's a 30 mil 12 point, and you should use a deep socket, but I couldn't find one. And you know, sometimes you can get away with a short one if you're lucky, but you have to be really careful. Whoa, why did it just move? Okay, so we took the wheel off, and I just I hammered in this part right here, and I got very lucky, and luckily it's moving freely. The last time I was working in here, this was totally seized in the hub, but you know, if you're lucky, you can hit it a couple times and it'll be loose. So now we're taking off the calipers, just two 17s. And I've almost got it out, and then we're gonna put this up on the side. I should get a cable, actually. Hold on. Alright, just got a little cable thing. So, okay, what's left? We got two bolts down here. We have this bolt for the, what is this, the tie rod, I believe? And then we have these two bolts up here for the shock. And we have this one cable for the, I think this is the ABS. That looks very rusty. So we're gonna put some WD-40 onto all these bolts and let it sit for a while. And then shouldn't be too hard to get them off. Already we've run into an issue. Taking this off shouldn't take that long, but this sensor, the bolt snapped and the sensor's stuck. So yeah, this already turned into a way longer of a job than it should be. So I just soaked around this area with some WD-40, and now we're gonna try and dealing with this. I already started to bend the pin. See if I can move this. Okay, pins out. Now, what size is this? It looks like a 19. This is a big bolt, so I should be okay just to use the impact on this. Putting it on the low setting. Nice. My thumb is... I can use the rubber hammer not to damage these threads. Awesome. Okay, if only everything worked out smoothly. This sensor's still very stuck in there. Okay, next let's try to loosen the strut bolts. All right. Alright, that's pretty stubborn. Shit. Hell yeah. Just got out the bottom bolt. It's loose now. So now the only things left are the bolts on the bottom and also this tie rod. Wait, no, not the tie rod. That's connected to the strut. Actually, I don't even know if that's the tie rod. I don't know what this bit's called. Anyways, these are loose. We just need to do bottom parts. And I also want to deal with trying to get this stud out. Okay, took me about an hour to get this bolt out, but I managed to weld the nut on there and get it out. Anyways, now the last thing is to take off the things on the bottom. There's a bolt and two nuts, and I think they are 21. No, they're 19s. So. These bolts were also really rusted, so they also took a pretty long time to get out. Plugged in my battery for the impact. Hopefully with a bit more charge you can get those bottom bolts off, but while we wait, I just want to show you how bad this bearing is. You see there's a lot of play here. Let me put this down. Side to side is a bit less, but there's a lot of up and down. It's quite bad. Finally, there's nothing holding this in anymore. Okay, this is like the cover for the wheel bearing. Check it out. As you can see, you can see the balls in that ball bearing, and that thing I was showing is supposed to cover that. There's so much crud on this. There's so much dirt. That's very heavy. Shit. Wait, let me put this on somewhere flat. This is more flat. Okay. What is this stuff? Maybe a cheap bearing was put in here, I don't know. When I had these bearings done originally, I just let the shop take care of it. And like I didn't order my own parts. I probably should have. But yeah, I don't go to that same place anymore. At this point in time, we're pretty much done. I just need to drop this off at a shop. But before that, I had some really dumb ideas that I just wanted to try out. I don't know why I wanted to do this, but I really wanted to try and spin around on this thing like I was some pedestal. Of course, this was super dangerous, very stupid, and right here you can see I got a dumber idea of putting the wheel on because I thought it wouldn't slip the way the piece of wood did. I was also curious to see if I could take the bearing out myself before dropping it off at the shop. Oh my god! Oh my! Alright, cleaned up the area. Loaded up the stuff in the Lexus, put it all in a cardboard box. So here's a new hub, got a new bearing, and I've also got a new clip thing. Yo, it's been 2 days since I dropped off the knuckles. And I just picked them up this morning. They actually finished it really fast. They finished it in about like an hour, I think. But I just didn't have time to go pick it up. And yeah, so just why it took a day or two. Anyways, here is the knuckle. We got a new hub and the new bearing and a new clip in there. Looks great. So just take a look. This is moving so much smoother, and it's so quiet. It makes no noise. Very happy about this. Yeah. So for these parts, the hub was I think 45, and then the bearing was 30 something. With tax, total parts were about $90-ish, and to have it pressed in at the shop was $100. I always like to buy my parts myself and then bring them to the shop. Usually it's a little bit cheaper if I do it that way, and I know exactly what I'm buying. Anyways, let's put this on. Finally. slid in.
So right now I want to fit all the bolts together loosely so that I have enough play to get all the pieces to line up together. Once all the bolts are in, I can then tighten everything down. Already wiped the hole and inside. The broken pieces that were there to a hardware store, and this was the closest thing. So hopefully pin back in. You should buy a new pin every time you do this, but I am not. And I also put the car in neutral, and then I spun it, and this is spinning just fine, not hearing anything weird. So next step would be putting this nut on the axle nut. Almost forgot. Yeah. Looks good. After I put this together, I took the car out for a quick drive, and we had no more grinding noise. So I know that this was the issue that I've been chasing, and the car should be all good now.